Hello and welcome to another episode of Stream It or Leave It. Today I'm going to be talking about the show Scenes from a Marriage starring Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac. Before watching this, having not even seen the trailer, my thought is that this isn't my kind of show. I guessed that the show wouldn't be about a happily married couple. Being zoomed in on a crumbling marriage is a certain kind of sad and anxiety-filled experience I don't enjoy on screen, and that's why I couldn't finish Marriage Story. But Oscar Isaac is in this, so here I am. This tells the story of married couple Myra, who works in tech, and Jonathan, who is a philosophy professor. They've been married for about 10 years and have a 4-year-old daughter, Ava. In the first episode, they're being interviewed by a PhD student / researcher who's looking at how evolving gender norms affect monogamous marriages. It's very obvious from their demeanor even before they start talking that something feels off. Even the researcher's first questions to have them confirm their pronouns makes them uncomfortable. We see that Jonathan talks for Myra a bit, not in a controlling way, it just feels like he wants to gloss over the awkwardness, and it's a reflex to kind of overcompensate when she doesn't say much. He quite easily talks about himself, but she's guarded and struggles to define herself beyond her job and being a mother. So in this time, we have a pretty good idea of who he is, but we don't know anything about her, except she kind of bristles every time Jonathan says basically anything. Sometimes it looks like she can't stand him, to be honest, and she's trying very hard and often failing to conceal it. The thing is, most of the questions are fairly benign, especially for these two who have been married for so long. But the fact that they struggle so much through what barely counts as scrutiny doesn't bode well. Later on, they're at a dinner with friends, two very welcome and familiar faces by the way, Nicole Beharie and Corey Stoll. Since this is the theme of the show, even the good parts of this dinner are awkward. The couple Peter and Kate are in their own not-so-great marriage. They're polyamorous, and it seems as though this came about initially because Peter was a philanderer, and this was a way to remedy that. Peter just mostly enjoys the physical part of having lovers and opening up the marriage, but the issue now is that Kate has fallen in love with one of their lovers, Nathan, who has since broken up with them. Kate is legitimately heartbroken, but she's struggling to process this on her own, and I guess she feels that Peter's trivializing her pain. Peter feels kind of put out because falling in love wasn't the deal. Kate also tells Myra that it was Nathan who made her attracted to Peter again. Prior to that, their marriage was dying in the bedroom department. As Kate confides in Myra, she kisses her, and I think it was a mixture of being tipsy, heartbroken, needing somebody because her husband hadn't been there for her. I can't tell. Myra reciprocates for a second, maybe, before politely turning away. Anyway, I hope we get more of a peek into Peter and Kate's marriage. And then, oh boy. Myra tells Jonathan that she's pregnant. This could be an explanation for why she's been offish all this time, but yeah, no, there's more. As they're trying to have the conversation about what to do, they dance around the actual words for a while, both waiting to see what the other might say, but neither of them seem to be able to muster any real excitement. So they might need to be honest with each other at some point. They finally do when they recall how difficult it was as Myra went through postpartum depression with her first pregnancy, and to their credit, they do try to be happy, and at the end of the scene, she tells him that she loves him, and I actually believe her. It was nice to have this one moment, 43 minutes in by the way, where the tension seems to have momentarily subsided. 10 days later, we see that they have decided to terminate. Jonathan is present, he's supportive, but he's struggling. He seems to be the guy who would completely defer to his wife because it is her body after all and her choice, even though he might have felt strongly for keeping this baby. I noticed quite a bit that he's the one who is always trying to diffuse the tension in their marriage and trying to keep things comfortable, that I don't think he would have felt that it was his place to passionately argue for keeping the baby if that's what he really wanted. I know they both have many compelling reasons for having made the decision that they made, but I wonder what's in his heart. I think he would think that it wouldn't be fair to Myra to really express that because that would burden her when she already has to go through with this. This does come to a great personal cost to him though. At one point he's about to say something and Myra almost accusingly looks at him and says something along the lines of, yes, well, can you imagine what it must be like for me? So yeah, he is relegated to getting her a soda, shuffling about, trying to keep her comfortable, but barely keeping his emotions in. This scene in the hospital is not only heartbreaking because of the difficult decision that they've had to make, but because they can't grieve together. Just the loneliness that you sense in the scene is something that I thought about for a long time after watching. Myra eventually asks if he doesn't mind just going home so that she can have time alone. After he leaves, she's overcome with emotions that she couldn't express while he was there, and that's the end of the first episode. Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac are sublime in this, and that final scene sealed the deal for me. I'm absolutely going to carry on streaming this. It's not an easy show to watch, and I wonder what happened to them, because it doesn't seem to me that they've just fallen out of love. They both seem very aware of what's going on, and they seem protective of each other, careful not to get angry, careful not to disturb the balance by being honest. I wonder why the pretense when they both seem to know. I know what I said about possibly crumbling marriages, but I found this so compelling. Definitely a stream it. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.